Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's Cons Vlogs. We're back with another video, you guys. If you missed the last video, I'll link it down in the description, you guys. We finally took the SS and the Blackwing out and raced them in a private location. We did 3 different races. We did a dig and then 2 rolls from different speeds. So go check that out, you guys. I think you'll like the result. I know that was a really highly requested video from you all, so go ahead and check it out, you guys. But today's video is going to be centered on the 2022 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing, and today we're going to be going over the 5 best things that I have found about the car personally. So again, this is my dad's car. We're at just about 2,700 miles on this thing. We're at 2,684 right now. So we've had some time to drive it. I have been lucky enough to spend a good amount of time in here, not obviously as much as him, but a good enough amount of time to nitpick some things in this car that I absolutely love, because it's a great car. It's a phenomenal car, probably the best car I've ever driven. And we're gonna go over some of the very best highlights of this thing. We're gonna start from the inside and then work our way out. This is my 5 favorite things about the 2022 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. So the number one thing about this car that I have to say I love is the color scheme in the interior. And there's a lot of different options you could have got. I think there were like 6 interior options. The one we went with is personally my favorite and the hardest to keep clean, because, you know, my dad dailies this car. So we take really good care of it to try to make sure it's clean. With these white seats, it's just phenomenal. I mean, it looks so good, as I'm sure you guys can tell. That's my number one thing. So I believe the interior was called the Sky Cool Gray. I believe that was the interior spec. We did not opt for the carbon fiber backing on the seats. It is the suede backing. I really like it. The carbon one, I was a little bit nervous about it too, and I know my dad was getting it scratched. We've got carbon down here surrounding the shift knob. We've got a carbon insert there, and then along the doors as well, and on the steering wheel. But the actual color scheme of the seats is just, it's crazy. It's so beautiful, and it ties together so well, especially with these red seat belts that we got. But yeah, that's number one. Is the interior is second to none as far as cars that I have driven. Favorite interior that I've seen on a car that I have personally got to experience. And I want to make it clear, there's a lot more than 5 things I could talk about on this car. But this is just 5 things that I had to pick out. I've been a big GM guy whole life, okay? Me and my dad, always GM guys. And there's a lot more than 5 things I could think of that I love about this car that GM improved on. I mean, it is Cadillac. But going along with the interior, we're gonna hop into the number 2 thing that I want to talk about, and that's going to be the actual gauges. And the heads-up display is just so freaking cool. The instantaneous response. Look at this. You can see there, it's quick. Like, it responds like that, right with the throttle. You've got tons of controls here. You can go over the songs, the driver's assistant, the trip counter, all of this right here. You can do all this. I mean, the performance, the 0 to 60 timer, engine oil, display theme. It's got 3 different themes. We can go to Tour. All right, so this one prioritizes the speed, puts the RPMs down here. Sport was the one we were in, and then we can go to Track, my personal favorite. And what that's gonna do is add the tack up there. You still have all of the informational stuff down there, and then you can also go in here and change the tack setting in this one specifically, and change it to a numerical tax or the traditional. So this one is cool because it actually lets you see the RPMs live. And then as you get closer to hitting red line, these bars will fill up, and it does the same thing in the heads-up display. You can track the oil pressure, oil temp, slip percentage, oil pressure, anything, coolant temp, you name it, tire pressure, all that stuff. You can have it show up in there as well on these 4 little places right there. But that's just beautiful, and it's really cool. I've never experienced a car with that before. I know a lot of modern cars are like it. It's very similar to the C8s, I think, but super super cool. And I love what GM did. I love the way it looks, and I love the way it performs. And then yeah, that kind of goes along with the interior, but like I said, it's really cool. It's something really cool. I've never experienced it. The third thing we're gonna go over is the manual 6-speed transmission, the TR6060, baby. It's beautiful. You guys remember I had my 5th gen Camaro SS1 LE that had the TR6060 in it, out of the Z28 Camaro. This has different gear ratios and shaved down gears to make it a little bit quieter, but it seriously feels identical. It's so great. the knob is beautiful. This is 3D printed right here. So super cool there. Cool design. It looks beautiful in the car, and it performs so good. The rev matching, it has automatic rev matching. It's so good. It feels tight, you guys. It's everything you would want. It's short, and it just feels so sturdy. And you know, the V8, the manual V8 is a dying breed. This is going to be the last one Cadillac ever does, and it's sad, but at the same time, I'm really excited with where they're going. I mean, you could have got this car with the 10-speed auto, and that transmission is ridiculous. It is so good from a performance standpoint. It would be the only transmission I would choose aside from a double clutch over a manual. But obviously in this sense, my dad decided to go with a manual. He loves it. I love it. I'm not going to complain about that at all. It feels great, and the fact that it's a manual in this car is really cool. So we're gonna hop out of the car now. It's just beautiful, man. Next thing I want to talk about is the actual powertrain to this thing, the actual engine. I know a lot of you guys know because I go over it. There's a lot of bugs right here. And that is the 6.2 liter LT4 supercharged V8. So let's pop the hood here right now. So yes, a lot of you guys will hear LT4, and you'll know that the LT4 is the same engine that comes out of the C7 Z06 and the 6th gen ZL1. The difference is this one makes 18 more horsepower due to a smaller pulley, an upgraded cooling brick, better intake, and a freer flowing exhaust. So that all adds up to make 668 horsepower and 659 pound-feet of torque. And like, it hits instantly. I mean, you guys know I have the SS, makes 720 to the wheels. This thing comes in way faster, I feel like. We'll obviously get it on a dyno at some point and compare the torque curves and all that, but the instantaneous response of this is something I've never felt before. I mean, you have all that power and torque right when you want it. It looks great, it's super cool, and the touches that they added, that intake, and then the bigger lid specifically for this car is really cool. And then, let's not forget, just to sum it all up, that is 668 horsepower, manual TR6060 transmission in a Cadillac, and you guys already saw the interior. And lastly, but definitely not least, the fifth thing I'm going to talk about today is the exhaust. So I mentioned it had a freer flowing exhaust, you guys. I personally think this is the loudest car I have ever heard, aside from like supercars in a stock form. And the fact that it comes out of a Cadillac is just mind-blowing. That LT4 screams, it pops, it growls, all the noises you would want it to make, it does when you have the valves open. Obviously you could close them, but not me. I drive with these things open all the time. You guys know me. I like it loud, and I like them fast. Of the things I mentioned today, what's your personal favorite? I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be the exhaust note. I really love it, and I really have a thing for exhaust. That's the first mod I do to any car I have, and this one honestly doesn't even need it, even if we could. That is gonna sum it up, you guys. So again, in summary, we've got the interior options and all the cool stitching and colors and stuff like that. We've got that beautiful heads-up display and that 12-inch digital gauge cluster that responds so instantly and has all the information you could ever ask for. We have the fact that this has a manual transmission, the same one out of the 6th gen ZL1 1LE Camaro, and not to mention that is paired up to the 668 horsepower LT4 with some small upgrades versus the previous generation LT4s. And the way that that comes out of the exhaust, it's beautiful. It's something beautiful, and it is American as it gets, you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know, what's your favorite thing about the CT5-V Blackwing, you guys? Do you want one? Do you not want one? Do you think they're overhyped or overpriced? Let me know your opinion down below, you guys. Go ahead, smash the like button. It helps me out. Give it a share. Shout me out on the gram, on Facebook, whatever. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you on my next video.